Tariffs under Trump are raking in nearly $30 billion a month in revenue. But what's happening with all this money, Dad? Where's it going?
Yeah, probably to ICE.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, they appropriated tens of billions of dollars to ICE to create the biggest federal police force we've ever had, bigger than the FBI, bigger than the DEA, bigger than alcohol, tobacco, firearms, bigger than any other federal police agency, and a totally rogue one. Not governed by any restrictions, not accountable to anyone except to the political interests and whims of Donald Trump. And that is truly frightening. The other thing, of course, about these, tens of billions of dollars in tariffs, it's a tax on everyday Americans. That is, for a time, businesses may eat some of the increased prices that result from tariffs. But that's a short-term effect. Over the long run, history shows that, like everything else, it rolls downhill. It gets passed on to the everyday consumer. That doesn't affect billionaires and like Donald Trump and his buddies who, reap huge amounts from the tax cuts that come with Trump's policies. But for Jane and John Doe America, it's a disaster. You're going to be paying higher prices for food, electronics, toys, automobiles, all of the things that are essential to your daily lives. For someone who's very rich, it makes no difference. But for someone living paycheck to paycheck, you are going to pay the price for this.
And the crazy thing is, too, so you think most of this is going to just go straight to ICE? I mean, it's got to go somewhere else. $30 billion a month?
A lot of it is going to go to ICE. They're talking many tens of billions of dollars.
That is true.
To ICE. There may be some minuscule amount that goes against the deficit, but it's not going to even make a dent in the enormous increase to our deficit from Trump's big ugly bill.
And the crazy thing is, too, I've heard reports, I think Trump actually said, or there was some reporting that Trump would be open to using ICE to federally controlled D.C. and New York City. And
yep.
That's crazy.
It's crazy, but it is a goon squad. It's Trump's goon squad, accountable to no one, subject to no rules, no restraints, no restrictions, and it's now going to be enormously beefed up, and Trump can use it for whatever purpose he wants, to federalize Washington, D.C., to control so-called blue state-controlled cities. It's really frightening, and we've never seen anything remotely like this. In fact, if you read the debates in the Constitutional Convention, the framers were so worried about military or militia forces snuffing out our rights and our liberties that they're reluctant to even sanction the establishment of an armed force.
God, how about this? I'll take. They get $30 billion a month. I'll take $1 million a month. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. That's all I'll take.
They had talked about bribing the American people by writing them a rebate.
Yeah, I did hear
check.
A little bit.
Kind of like the stimulus checks that people got.
Right.
But that's not going to come close to offsetting what's going to happen to our economy from these tariffs. The history of tariffs is a disastrous one. He loved the McKinley tariff, 1890. What followed was then the worst depression to that point in U.S. history, the Great Depression of the 1890s, which almost matched the Great Depression of the 1930s, which was very much due to the Smoot Hawley tariffs of 1930. Yes, the economy was already in trouble, but the Smoot Hawley tariffs made things so much worse. And of course, not only have conservatives for decades claiming to be the guardians of
the galaxy.
Yes, of strict construction, they've also claimed to be the great supporters of fiscal responsibility and balanced budgets, right?
Not anymore.
Not ever, really.
No, not ever, right.
It's all just a lot of rhetoric.
Right. How can I speak tonight?
I don't know. You're young and sharp. You should be able to speak.
That's what you keep saying.
Yeah. I mean, you can understand why an old guy like me might have trouble. But
you speak fine. I'm the only one with issues.
That's true.
A federal judge just blocked the Trump administration from diverting more than $4 billion in disaster prevention grants, saying only Congress gets to authorize such cuts. That's a good news, right?
Yeah, if it holds.
Oh.
And if Trump follows it.
Oh.
You know, he'll take it to the Supreme Court and he'll get an emergency ruling and who knows. But the bigger implication is this is money that saves lives, right? By dealing with disasters, which the climate change that they claim doesn't exist is making so much worse. So instead of using this money within federal emergency management to save lives, to rescue people, to make people whole, guess where he wants to divert it, Sam?
Tell me.
Come on, you know.
I'm reading an article.
All right. ICE, of course.
Oh, okay.
Rounding up immigrants. You know, he claimed we're going to get the worst of the worst. And, of course, the opposite is true. Over 70% of those detained have no criminal record, no convictions. And the great majority of the others have convictions only for minor offenses like trivial traffic violations. He is just scooping up whoever he can, not the worst of the worst. He's scooping up people who've been living here for many years, who have jobs, who contribute to the economy, who are an important part of the agricultural, construction, hospitality, personal service industries.